Yo, what is up, everybody? DV's here, and today I'm be reacting to a Spider-Man No Way Home trailer breakdown by new Rockstar because, like, I have so many questions after that trailer that just happened. Like, why did Doctor Strange agree to that spell with Peter Parker? Isn't Doctor Strange supposed to be, like, all stern and everything? You know, like, we can't do anything to damage the universe, you know? Like, he always says stuff like that, like, how we saw in the Avengers movies, you know? He wasn't gonna do, like, anything, like, risky unless there was a way to save the universe. It's like it made no sense why he just agreed to it after even Wong told him it was a bad idea, you know? So like I remember, and then I also went on Twitter also, and I saw that maybe that wasn't the real Doctor Strange, so maybe it was like an imposter, you know? Maybe like someone that has it out for Doctor Strange or has it out for the heroes or something, and is imposter as Doctor Strange. So like hopefully that gets answered. I saw Peter Parker, I believe, in a new suit. Like I saw him running around the cafeteria or some kind of building, and he was like, it was like his head didn't have a mask on, but like his like from his neck down to all the way to his feet, like it was like a black suit. I don't know if that was a suit that we saw before, but it seemed new to me. So hopefully new Rockstar talks about that, you know, a little bit. If not, then I mean, if he doesn't talk about it, then it probably was a suit that he already wore. And then what else? Oh, and then I also forgot how there was also supposed to be like a Sinister Six forming in this movie. Like I went on Twitter, and like I forgot they're supposed to be like villains forming up to defeat the Spider-Mans and everything. So far we saw Green Goblin with his grenades. We saw Doc Ock. We saw Electro with the yellow lightning, and we saw Sandman also with the Electro. You know, with his yellow lightning in the same scene. So, but we're missing two more. You know. Two more is a mystery, so hopefully new Rockstar saw something that we didn't. Hopefully he answers these questions and more. And let's just get into this. And subscribe to new Rockstar also if you haven't, because they also make awesome content. But let's get into this though.
Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Eric Boss, and this is a breakdown of the long-awaited trailer for Spider-Man No Way Home, a film now confirmed to blow open the live-action Spider-Verse with past franchise villains we've never thought we'd see in the MCU.
I know.
Some of us thought we would, and it's all thanks
I never
to
thought this would happen.
Being the cool dad to a teen with cold feet. Cooled because Wong left the Sanctum freezer open to get some hunka burning fudge. And yeah, this trailer dropped on August 23rd, which is insanely the date Wanda Maximoff and Vision had hearted on their
I saw that on Twitter also, which is crazy.
Rockstars where our prayers to Mephisto are inevitably answered. So much to break down.
Maybe
how these alt-universe villains got here, how this fits in with the other multiversal MCU titles we've been talking about.
Oh, I can't wait for that movie.
Cameos could be happening now. So let's break this down frame by frame for every detail you might have missed. Okay, the trailer opens with the three first notes of the 60s animated Spider-Man theme. Spider-Man, Spider-Man.
Did it?
Oh, look at this.
Peter and
that's actually cool. What?
News headlines in the New York Post reading Peter Parker and his Spider Minions with an image of Peter's big yearbook photo head on Spider-Man's smaller body. Puppety marionettes with Ned and it looks like MJ's faces on them.
Dang.
Like that. But then on the backside
of the
newspaper,
they did him dirty.
Like, pray for New York. And then awesome detail here in the graffiti in the background, a nice little nod to Ditko for Steve Ditko, co-creator of Spider-Man with Stan Lee.
Yeah, that's cool.
Who inked much of the trippy Doctor Strange artwork that is inspiring this movie. Now, Spider-Man Far From Home ended with Spider-Man publicly revealed as Peter Parker with this same photo in a doctored video from Mysterio that made his death from a ricocheted Stark drone bullet that he actually fired look like Peter ordering the attack, as well as the full attack on London. That video was released by Quentin Beck's team after his death and was broadcast by J. Jonah Jameson, host of the DailyBugle.net, with J.K. Simmons reprising his role after playing it in a different cinematic universe. That was the Sam Raimi trilogy. And in those movies, the Daily Bugle was actually a print newspaper, as it seems to be in Sony's separate Venom and Carnage universe, but here in the MCU, it's an InfoWars-inspired online outlet. Perhaps why they're not reading it.
Oh, okay.
MJ jokes about the gossip that Peter could hypnotize females, referring to a real thing in certain types of funnel-weaving spiders in which the males produce pheromones to cause females to enter a passive trance-like state. While that's not really one of Peter's powers,
that's freaking creepy.
In this movie ask Doctor Strange to memory wipe all of society, and maybe guilt over MJ's gaslighting bit is one of many memories that Peter decides he does not want to erase, actually. We see the direct aftermath of the Far
that's
From Home
actually
credit scene as Peter and MJ flee the Penn Station corner to zip through Times Square
crazy.
as J. Jonah Jameson's voice trumpets Peter's identity. The giant screens project that same yearbook photo with Peter's face half covered with the Spider-Man mask, an image that has appeared on the cover of several Spider-Man comics, but memorably
that's cool.
on Spider-Man 366 in 1992 when Red Skull and Taskmaster tricked Peter with the return of his parents. And Peter finds himself in custody, cuffed to the table, confronted with this photo.
Oh yeah, people were saying Matt Murdock's supposed to be here too.
Nerdy, physics is theoretical, but the
rumor.
is real shirt, which he was also wearing on the day Tony Stark dropped him off after the Civil War airport battle. Now the guys questioning him based on their patches are from the DODC. That's Department of Damage Control, the same agency that cleans up the Avengers messes.
Instead of Spider-Man. The original one.
Now they're also the feds who step in whenever an Avenger gets in legal hot water. And it's here where some fans are still speculating that Matt Murdock, Charlie Cox from the Netflix Daredevil, could appear as Peter's defense attorney. I will say it is interesting how the frame cuts off the face of the guy on the right with his sleeves rolled up, with arms as hairy as Charlie Cox's arms, warm enough to get one through a sanctum winter. I will say he seems a bit aggressive with those files to be Peter's defense attorney.
But then from this angle, he looks a little chunky though.
His cover get blown.
So I don't know.
Sure though. I will say this guy seems to have a slightly different body shape.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He looks a little more like heavier.
Could be all the structural damage left behind in Spider-Man's wake.
Maybe he just bulked up. I don't know, but he looks heavier.
Now, since they assume those Stark drones were all controlled by Peter the whole time, all the damage we saw in Far From Home. Then,
that's all in Spider-Man then.
Now,
on Peter Parker, damn.
You can make out the tower that was once Avengers Tower, which was recently remodeled to be given an atrium with a nearby sign on the ground level reading, "We are so excited to show you what comes next," with the numbers 1, 2, 3, and possibly a hint to the
Fantastic Four. I remember that.
Theory is that the building could become Reed Richards' Baxter Building, and now that Spider-Man John Watts is directing the Fantastic Four film for
Marvel. I can't wait. We won't be seeing it in this phase. I don't think so.
Walls are some of
probably next phase,
including the same one she did of Coach Wilson. That was Hannibal Buress' character in Homecoming when she was drawing people in places. Peter heads into school with Ned and MJ, all harassed by protesters. Behind them is Flash Thompson, now with blonde hair. Who does this guy think he is? Natasha Romanoff. Now, some of the signs in the distance
do you get chunkier?
Supportive of Peter.
Looks chunky.
Looks like we heart Spider-Man head, or editor John thinks we heart potato. Actually, one sign puts Peter in devil horns with devil in disguise. Okay, don't you dare say it.
No, I don't think I will.
Okay, I'll say it, Mephisto. Only because the plot here does feel similar to
people were saying Daredevil.
One More Day storyline in which Peter asks Dr.
Strange like a hint to Daredevil.
Life, but then ends up making a deal with Mephisto that involves the world forgetting that he's Spider-Man. That also requires him to split up with Mary Jane.
Whoa, what? That actually sounds like what the trailer showed.
That storyline for how it retconned the character completely at the time. So much so that Marvel later had to kind of backpedal a lot of the implications of it. So I think while One More Day may influence the setup of this movie, the second and third acts look like they're going in very different directions. Peter and MJ
but the way it starts off, that's what it looks like it's basing off. That's crazy.
Minutes after Mysterio outed him. Now they're actually on the Queensboro Bridge, which runs alongside that Roosevelt Island tramway, the famous setting of the showdown in the Sam Raimi film between Spider-Man, Green Goblin, and Mary Jane, and the people in New York.
You mess with one of us, you mess with all of us.
Peter faces a bunch of gawkers from his fellow students at Midtown High. On the screen looks like the Midtown Morning News with host Betty Brant live on the scene, which I think would be right outside this high school. Now, for her to be reporting on this would be a bit of a conflict of interest, considering she and Ned used to date. Now, as Peter trudges through the high school, in the deep background are the science and technology murals that include the face of Howard Stark, with the Starks now probably feeling further away from Peter as he drowns in public scrutiny. And
that's not even on his mind.
A bunch of young extras, naturally, the dude in the Letterman jacket on the right looks directly into camera. Then a shot of the camera rushing in on Aunt May and Peter's living room. They're watching J. Jonah Jameson's Daily Bugle show on the TV. This could be the moment authorities swarm their home to detain them for questioning. We actually see Ned and Aunt May in an interrogation room. Peter sees decorations showing plumpy little Dr. Stranges with
I just noticed that that's Doctor Strange. What? How did I notice that before?
Dr. Strange for help. Now remember, in Far From Home, Mr. Dell thought the attacks were the doing of witches.
What do you think it is? You know, being a man of science, witches.
We later saw him looking up on his phone. The events of WandaVision were
What?
said before Far From Home, suggesting that Mr. Dell's fear could have come from reports of the Scarlet Witch and Agatha Harkness in nearby New Jersey. And now Peter is remembering if those sorcerers could manipulate memories, so too could the sorcerer in his corner. So Peter arrives at the Sanctum Sanctorum, finding the interior frozen.
So he could be an imposter.
And if you look at the top of the stairs there, Doctor Strange is floating. So cool. Now this is the first time we have seen the Sanctum interior since the opening act of Avengers Infinity War.
Yeah.
Hulk transitioning back into
He
Banner,
falls through the
blasted
thing,
a hole
yeah.
in the roof with the Bifrost from Heimdall. Maybe that hole was left open to let in a recent blizzard? But I don't know. The stairs have been repaired.
Yeah,
Freshly
everything
or
looks
frosted
repaired.
on top of them. But also one room in the Sanctum contains doors to other geographic zones, including one with a cold climate of heavy snowfall. Maybe one of those doors was left open. But the ice could be some form of magic gone awry, or a reflection of the Sanctum's mystical health. But it is worth noting that in addition to Doctor Strange dusting upon the snap, the official screenplay for Avengers Endgame confirmed Wong also dusted. So between May 2018 and October 2023, this place was abandoned. Strange's cloak of levitation placed on his shoulders over a heavy winter jacket, and underneath that,
so they probably repaired everything,
University. That's Doctor Strange's
and the snow was already there.
And Doctor Strange has a mug showing a fox reading "O for Fox sake." Also, it is for Fox's sake that this bub now has a wider multiverse of X-Men and Fantastic Four.
Which I can't wait.
Can we get on that, please? Then a shot where Peter
next phase. See, look at that
suit.
suit.
Black suit. Now,
Yes,
design for this
oh.
integrated suit leaked via
That's
merch
yeah.
earlier this year. It has gold lining, described as having
Man.
mystic spiderweb effects, meaning this was designed for Peter by Doctor Strange. Maybe one that allows him to toggle among past incarnations of his suit, and or use sorcerer magic to track and capture entities from alternate universes, like by whipping web strings made of magic. Now this facility is a homeless shelter, and you can see a poster reading Beast on the far right there. The homeless outreach organization that Peter works at in the comics and played a big role in the PS4 game. Actually, the location with the witch decorations Peter was in earlier
that's
also
cool.
could have been part of Feast. A leaked set photo that went around recently revealed a Feast truck parked outside the Sanctum. Maybe Peter volunteers at Feast as community service after getting into trouble. So Peter asks Strange to make it so that Mysterio never revealed his identity. And Strange is like, sure, okay, despite a stern warning from Wong.
Yeah.
Why does Strange go along with this? Like, Strange must know how dangerous this spell is or how petty Peter's wishes are. Maybe Peter's legal troubles are becoming a security threat that Strange is concerned about. Or Strange is egotistical enough to assume that he can address Peter's wishes with the precision of a surgeon's scalpel. Or Strange has some other motivation we don't know about. No.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
I'm actually wondering if Strange might see a benefit in deliberately crossing the streams of the multiverse to get ahead of a chaotic crisis.
Yeah, that makes sense.
He can harness some interdimensional warriors or begin to imprison some interdimensional threats. More on that strategy in a bit. Meanwhile, I'm not sure where Wong is headed.
Totally
to guess
sense.
that he could be off to face Abomination in a cage fight in Shang-Chi. Though, if you look closely on the other side of that portal, you can kind of make out a structure with pillars and a trellis overhang. We actually saw that structure in the Camertage training yard in Doctor Strange, so that must be where he is headed. Strange conducts the spell in what looks like the Sanctum basement with the Eye of Agamotto once again around his neck. That's odd, considering the necklace's purpose seemed to be to house the Time Stone, which Thanos has atomized, and Thanos shattered that necklace on Titan in Infinity War, even though one brief shot in Endgame included a continuity error of Strange wearing it. Perhaps the necklace is a decorative piece that Strange reforged, or an artifact that he uses to store other mystical tokens.
Yeah, probably just an artifact.
Picture of Wong. Doctor Strange floats in the same pose that he made when looking forward at the 14,605 future outcomes, which makes sense because this spell involves Strange accessing different timelines in the multiverse. Now, as part of the spell, Strange pours a golden fluid in a bowl, which then strings out all pensive-like as a strand that morphs into a ring of runes, similar to the ones on leaked promo art. Now, that strand might be a piece of Peter's hair. Remember, Doctor Strange similarly used a piece of Thor's hair to conjure a spell that located Odin, and Agatha used a piece of Wanda's hair to conjure a memory-based spell in WandaVision. Now, hey, if you like what we do here at New Rockstars, or if you like cool, nerdy clothing and gear, you should be checking out New Rockstars merch.
That actually looks pretty cool.
To see what new stuff
Doc Ock in the background with the portal.
Shop have put together a full lineup
That looks
of really
pretty cool.
gear, shirts, stickers, hoodies, all kinds of cool items to grab for yourself or to give as a gift and completely blow your nerdy friend's mind. Like if giving someone a Mobius on a jet ski t-shirt doesn't say, our friendship is real. I don't know what would.
No, that looks really cool though.
And they have just released brand new items inspired by Marvel's What If, including the newest edition of the latest Obsession line of t-shirts,
Okay.
Cosmic Witness. Now,
Cool,
these are
cool.
limited edition shirts and won't be around for long. And
Gotcha.
whoa, as this Spider-Man trailer is dropping, I am getting a text saying we got some new Spider-Man No Way Home inspired designs on the way. They look amazing. There's
They
actually
do,
an
actually.
entire lineup of merch inspired by the Suicide Squad, including some great stickers, and
Stickers,
a King Shark
gotcha.
backpack, and t-shirts in kid sizes, because nothing says back in school like a character that keeps graphically biting people's heads off. There's just plenty of other merch at the shop inspired by Loki, Black Widow, WandaVision, The Mandalorian, and all the other nerdy
Okay,
properties
that's really
that we
cool.
love. So check it all out at newrockstarsmerch.com. You'll be helping out our channel directly while also earning some major nerd cred. Also notice how this bowl is adorned with tiny figures of animals. Looks like there's an elephant and then a ram, and then on the left it could be a lion or a tiger. Also kind of looks like an owl. Now the elephant makes me think this is a relic of Indian or maybe African origin, since those are the places you can find elephants in the wild. There is the Hindu deity of Ganesha, who has an elephant head, and is
Whoa.
known as the god of beginnings or new enterprises. But elephants are
Okay.
also known for their extensive memories, which could also connect with this being a memory-based spell. But it is tough. We're gonna
Oh,
need
yeah,
to
that
actually
makes
get an
sense.
account for all the animals. Now, Peter interferes with the spell, not just by physically stepping into it, but by verbally expressing his change of heart as the spell is underway. I don't know, maybe I just have Harry Potter in the brain, but it looks like there's some sorting hat rules going on here, and the spell takes Peter Potter's choice into account. Now, notice the spell forms 4 separate rings, which then tilt and
Does it?
chaotically
1,
break
2, 3,
reality
4.
around them, opening up to this nebulous void on the other side, which doesn't look too different from the void of space of the sacred timeline that surrounded the Citadel at the end of
Okay.
time. In that Loki finale, we learn that the sacred timeline is a ring that circles back on itself. So
Yeah.
that could clue us into the production design here. Each ring could
Oh,
represent a separate universe.
yeah.
One for the MCU, one for the
Oh,
Raimiverse,
yeah, and one for
Web
the-
universe,
uh-huh.
maybe a fourth for Sony's Venom Carnage universe.
Okay.
The components
That'd
of
be
the spell
really
colliding
interesting.
and breaking reality seem to be the mechanics by which alternate universe villains are now crossing over into this movie.
Damn,
Rings
that'd be really
begin
cool.
orbiting independently of each other, but then knock into each other with each collision, perhaps
Yeah,
causing
'cause they're-
crossover
yup.
of a character or an entity from that
Dang.
universe into this one. Now, coming out of Loki and WandaVision, we're still not entirely certain how much those events affected the multiverse across all Marvel titles like this one, because this event seems to be separate from He Who Remains Sacred Timeline breaking apart. However, since Loki established that time from the vantage point of the Citadel is occurring all at once, that breaking of the timeline could be coinciding with all kinds of seemingly coincidental independent events, like Wanda with the Darkhold, and now Peter and Strange in this spell gone awry. Now,
Dang.
at one point in this multiverse imagery, it flashes to this textured tunnel. This is actually taken directly from Doctor Strange's multiverse montage in the 2016 film, and then we get an even quicker flash of multicolored streams which match the ones that shot out of Strange's arms and legs during that sequence. Now,
What?
here, the frame
I don't
cuts
remember
off
that.
whose
That's
legs
cool.
they're streaming out of. Maybe one of the Spider-Verse villains being pulled into this reality, or one of the alternate Peter Parkers. Strange stops the spell, and the rings shrink down to handheld size, but they continue to spin at these chaotic angles. To me, this is also very reminiscent of the machine in the movie Contact, a title that I only bring up because it keeps weirdly coming up as a Marvel influence in titles like Doctor Strange, WandaVision, Loki. The machine in that movie had 4 rings, 3 of them spinning, all at different angles, and also opened an interdimensional portal. Then we move on
Whoa.
to some truly Doctor Strangean imagery. The city of New York bending into donut shapes. I love
Yup.
this. Strange says, you tampered with the stability of space-time. The multiverse is a concept about which we know frighteningly little. Which is interesting because of all Marvel characters, Doctor Strange and Peter Parker are really the only title MCU heroes who have ever spoken of the multiverse, prior to Loki at least. Strange experienced a trip through the multiverse thanks to the Ancient One, and in Far From Home, when Peter met Mysterio, he proved that he had thought quite a bit about the multiverse.
I'm sorry, you're saying there's a multiverse? Because I thought that was just theoretical. I mean, that completely changes how we understand the initial singularity.
Again, I just think Strange knows a lot more about the multiverse, and he might be using
Well, yeah, that
Peter
makes
to get
sense,
what he
'cause
wants
he's
from
the
him. Now,
Sorcerer
city
Supreme.
appears to be sinking at the exact part of New York City where the Sanctum Sanctorum is located, 1778 Bleecker Street. That would be not that far from Washington Square Park,
Dang.
as you're overlooking the river toward New Jersey. Now, in this shot, Peter looks at his hand as if his web shooters are not functioning. Maybe he's out of webbing, or maybe Strange's spell won't let him use them. But in either case, it does recall the moment in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2 when Peter's stress caused him to run out of organic
Oh,
webbing
yeah, he
and
just
swing.
falls
That's
down.
right. Let us not forget that the Raimi trilogy
And then he
did
hits
not
the trash
use
can.
classic Spider-Man web shooter devices, but made Peter's webbing spew out of his wrist skin. I can't wait to see that conversation.
Which is
between
really
Tom and
cool
Toby.
still.
Cue my favorite fat
Cause
cut.
seeing like the web go through his, like, you know, his veins and everything, that's really cool.
Next, this shot of a
That just looks so
cloud
wrong,
swirling amongst
honestly.
some news vans, including a Daily Bugle van. And then a bolt of lightning strikes through
Yup,
it.
Electro.
You might be seeing two Spider-Verse villains here: Electro and Sandman.
Sandman,
Jamie
yeah.
Foxx, who played Electro in the Mark Webb
That's
and
what I said.
Garfield Amazing Spider-Man 2 in 2014, was the first past villain confirmed for this movie. Until now, Thomas Hayden Church Sandman from Raimi's Spider-Man 3 in 2007 has only been rumored. Then Strange faces Spider-Man on this speeding train through what looks like the
Wait, hold
Grand
up.
Canyon.
He faces him?
Aside from the mountainous setting, does evoke Tobey Maguire's
Why does he
Spider-Man
face him?
famous duel with Doc Ock in the 2004 film. Strange duplicates the train car into 8 of them, similar to his Images of Icon spell that he used against Thanos.
No, but why does he
The train track
fight him
also
though?
splits into duplicates.
I didn't know he was gonna be fighting him.
Or
What?
the timeline is branching off into alternate courses when Nexus events rupture the sacred timeline. During this, Strange blames Peter for trying to live 2 different lives as what caused the spell to misfire. In
It's
addition,
because he
one
ruined the
storyline,
spell? That's
this
why?
also reminds us again of the 2004 film when Peter gave up his second life and paid a price for it. If you think about it, in the MCU, Peter's really the only prominent superhero who's tried to hold on to his anonymity when everyone else just kind of lives very public lives. And again,
Yeah,
I think
that's
it's super
the-
odd that Strange is antagonizing
That's the thing about
here
Peter
when
Parker,
Strange is the one
Spider-Man.
who agreed to do the spell in the first place. Strange pushes Peter's astral projected soul from his Spider-Man body, similar to how the Ancient One pushed Bruce Banner's astral self.
Oh, I forgot about that.
As Strange does this, the surrounding world freezes, which they cleverly show with a ton of autumn leaves frozen in place, as well as the woman.
Oh,
Actually
that's
reminds
cool.
me of that first Raimi movie where he used the background details like the fly and the spitball to convey Peter's Spidey sense. Now, Peter is holding an interesting looking cube, and you'll notice it has the seal of Vishanti on the sides. What is this? I am wondering if this could be an artifact from Doctor Strange's collection, a kind of pocket prison that Strange uses to contain the alt-universe villains that he is trying to corral. I guess kind of like a Ghostbusters trap. This seems to be the MacGuffin football that Peter and Strange wrestle over possession of. Strange wants it for his reasons, maybe Peter wants it to release these captives back to their homes, thus no way home. Then Peter wears his Iron Spider armor on an overpass, the setting of a major set piece we'll talk more of later. Now, he wore that suit only in the beginning of Far From Home and in a deleted scene when he took down the Manfredi crime family. Other than that, he left it charging in his bedroom. SWAT police closed.
Oh, I forgot he had it in his bedroom.
Based on Happy Hogan's reaction, I'm wondering if this could be that safe house that Peter, MJ, and Ned were using based on those.
Oh, yeah, it's probably in the beginning of. I was wondering why are they pointing weapons at him?
And bombed it out, maybe with some pumpkin bombs. Then
Dang.
a very quick shot that I think explains a lot of what is going on. Peter is in a dark, murky place, and then suddenly the
Yeah, I
lizard
remember seeing
jumps
something
out at
here.
him,
Oh,
hitting
it's a
the transparent
lizard.
barrier. Whoa! So remember, Reese Ifans
Whoa,
played
so it is a
in
lizard.
2012 Andrew Garfield Amazing
Okay, so we
Spider-Man
got
3, but
Doc
I
Ock,
think
we
this
got
is
Green
the
Goblin,
of that pocket
Lizard,
prison artifact that Peter and Strange are fighting,
Electro,
and Strange is
Sandman.
collecting all these
Now need
eclectic
one more for
Sinister
Sinister
villains,
Six.
like Pokemon and Pokeballs, because he
Damn.
knows the multiverse is about to erupt, and he wants to neutralize all potential threats before that happens. Look, folks, if this Pokeball Ghostbuster trap bullshit sounds too crazy, I will direct you to literally any other shot in this trailer. This movie is gonna be weird. Then Spider-Man takes
Bro, I
cover
don't know
from
how they're gonna fit so
electricity,
much
perhaps
in, like,
from Electro,
it has to be 3 hours.
the bolt is kicking up
3 hours or
if
longer.
Sandman is forming a shield to
That's what I
protect
thought.
and protect Peter.
See, 'cause look, there's Spider-Man right there, too.
Where this woman in her car
On the
is
right.
staring at Peter unblinking. We might be seeing time
I don't know who that
slow
is.
down again in Peter's
Is that just like a random
Spider-Man as he
person or
senses
whatever?
the threat. Then the money shot of this trailer. A Green Goblin
Yep.
pumpkin grenade.
It was
is
one of the
tossed
money
up
shots.
from the collapsed edge of the overpass, and we hear the iconic laugh of Willem Dafoe as Norman Osborn. This was the rumored appearance I was most excited about. After this guy died in the first film in 2002, Dafoe's Osborn continued to haunt the trilogy through the mirror of his son Harry, and he stole every scene he was in. Now, if we go by Alfred Molina's quote, Dafoe Osborn might have been brought into this reality from the moment of his death, my favorite death from the Raimi trilogy.
Godspeed, Spider-Man.
And then boom, it kills him.
Don't tell Harry.
But instead, Strange's spell could have yanked Osborn out of the way of that glider. Either way, Osborn and Octavius think they're in a weird kind of heaven now. However, we also hear Green Goblin's glider in the cloud of dust from which Doc
Do we?
Ock's mechanical arms claw at us. also
Oh, you
green
do?
light. And then, as
What?
reported last December, Alfred Molina as Dr. Otto Octavius greets us. So excited to see this guy again. Now, it looks like a bit of de-aging might have been done to Molina's face, as he said was going to be the case, meaning we can also probably trust his other statements from that interview. He's wearing a turtleneck and tinted sunglasses instead of the blacked out frames and the low V plus high collar.
I mean, I like the way he
Peter
looks.
suits up with the nanotech of his Iron Spider armor.
That's
Now,
so awesome.
Now, Doc Ock is climbing up on the George Washington Bridge, which makes the waters beneath him the Hudson. This is the river that Doc Ock drowned in the 2000
Oh,
film.
okay.
The moment in the river that
Dr. Strange
Molina
probably
said
pulled him
this
before he
movie would
drowned.
Pick up with his character from. Now, it's interesting how Doc Ock greets Tom Holland Spider-Man with a friendly "Hi, Peter," since his Peter Parker was Tobey Maguire. This would suggest that Doc Ock is more of an expert on the multiverse logic by which he was transported to this reality, and he might be able to conclude that any version of Spider-Man
Damn.
is Peter Parker, even if this Peter looks different. Or
Maybe he's been through the whole
Doc Ock
multiverse.
might simply be greeting not Tom Holland Peter,
Yeah.
but the Peter from his universe.
Like,
that he was
pants to the right, and then you see Tobey Maguire's. Oh my god, bro. That whole movie theater, when that happens, it's gonna be, everyone's gonna lose their mind.
Octavius has more of a connection with this Peter. That's really why I don't think Peter's relationship with these villains is gonna be so necessarily antagonistic. He might be trying to help them go home, restoring the multiverse into separate universes and deciding he can live
Oh,
one
okay.
life, a life with the consequences of his actions. Now, what about all those other cameos that have been speculated? The alternate Peter Parkers from those realities.
Yeah.
Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, or Charlie Cox as Matt Murdock. Again, there have been numerous unconfirmed reports.
Right,
Tom
yeah,
Holland and Andrew
rumors.
Garfield both denied it. Many fans did not believe them. But I will say, it certainly seems more possible now. If the villains from these universes
They're gonna
can
be in there. There's no-
into the MCU,
there's no way they're
only
not in
heroes.
it.
Now, I would be surprised if Sony revealed those in a trailer. And while I would love to see a quick cameo of Tobey or Andrew through a portal or something, I'm also
Man,
totally okay
that'd
with
be
it
so
being
awesome.
Tom Holland's movie. And the mere prospect of Alfred Molina and Willem Dafoe showing up has me thrilled beyond imagination for this film. We are in the end game now, my friends. Between
Never thought
now
about
and
that.
December, New Rockstars is going to be speculating like crazy about this film, and we got a lot more videos coming your way.
No, I think they're coming back,
Rockstars
though.
by checking out our merch options at newrockstarsmerch.com. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at
Yep.
EAVOS.
Go follow 'em if you're not.
Rockstars. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Another good video, guys. Another good video. Okay, once again, new Rockstar with another good video. They basically answer like all my questions, because the first question I had was like, with like, why did Doctor Strange agree to that spell? Like, maybe it was like some kind of villain, you know, maybe Mephisto, you know, like, cause like he said, a witch in disguise, like how in WandaVision, you know. I forgot the other girl's name, the purple witch, but how she was disguised, you know, and then she was disguising the whole time throughout the whole TV show with that. Maybe someone's disguising Doctor Strange, you know. Like he went to that comic, I forgot what it was called, but it had to include Mephisto with Spider-Man and Doctor Strange, all that. You know, how like basically how it's gonna start off, you know. Maybe, or maybe Doctor Strange has something else he has to do, and Peter Parker coming to him was like a good reason for him to also do it, and in need of that also. And then I guess Peter Parker just ruined the spell, you know. So yeah, maybe he has some kind of other plan that he needed to do, and Peter Parker was just like an escape plan, you know. So yeah, and then what else did I say? I said the whole thing with the villains also. So we have Doc Ock, we have Green Goblin, we have Electro, we have Sandman, and it was Lizard. So, and then we need one more to do the Sinister Six. People are saying that, I remember going on Twitter actually, and people were saying that, what's his name? I know people were saying Mysterio was still alive apparently, which actually would make sense because Mysterio, like, his whole thing's illusion, you know? What greater illusion would it be to fool the whole world to thinking he was dead and framing Spider-Man? That'd be the greatest illusion of them all, you know? Look at the way the beginning trailer starts. Everyone hates Spider-Man. Everyone thinks Spider-Man did all this damage and everything. Everyone thinks he killed. Everyone thought Mysterio was this great hero and everything, and Spider-Man was just like a villain apparently. That's what everyone thought. And he did all the damage with the drones and everything, and he killed Mysterio. That's actually a good plan if Mysterio is still alive to fill the Sinister Six. Wow, man. And then the whole thing with his new suit. Peter Parker does got a new suit. A new suit apparently that's gonna be made by Doctor Strange, which is gonna be lit. Like, I don't even know what, like, maybe he's gonna enchant it somehow, you know. Dude, look at the words I'm saying. Enchanting a Spider-Man suit. Like, we've gone so far throughout the years with everything. We're having a movie with Doctor Strange, and we're gonna be with 3 Spider-Mans and a freaking villain from like past movies and everything. It's just crazy to think about. And this is only just the beginning. This is actually the first official multiverse movie we're gonna be having. We're gonna be having like phases of movies, like a whole like 3 phases probably of movies with nothing but the multiverse in it, and it's just gonna be even crazier. Imagine how when we get an actual Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, how that's gonna be, like wow. And then we're still getting an Ant-Man, you know, like oh, everything is just gonna be crazy. I can't wait for the future of Marvel. But yeah, if you like my reaction, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to know when my next video goes up, and sayonara.